I'm going to call to order the March meeting of the Kingston Public Library Board of Trustees at 6:05. In attendance, we have trustees Carolyn Bromwich and Shannon Gauthier, as well as myself, Emily Curtin, and Library Director Donald Colon, and head of the Kingston Public Library Foundation, Debbie Grace. The first thing on our agenda is minutes approval, which we are tabling because of our lack of quorum. But we did find out that we will be able to vote on the minutes from the January meeting because all the board members have watched the meeting and so therefore can officially approve the minutes. So that will happen at our next meeting. That brings us to a budget update.
Okay. The only thing I really want to mention for the budget update is that on March 20th will be the date that I will be meeting with the Finance Committee to go over any questions and concerns that they have over our budget request. There is a subcommittee of Finance Committee members that are supposed to be meeting with me to discuss our budget. As of yet, I haven't heard from them. But on Wednesday, March 20th at, I believe, 7 p.m. is the Finance Committee meeting to discuss it. So if any members of the Board of Trustees would like to be in attendance, that would be great. I can also say that I had previously mentioned that our budget requests have been cut or level funded for fiscal 24 for fiscal 25, with fiscal 24's line for books and materials. That has been restored in the town administrators and Board of Selectmen's budget. So it does reflect, what we need to meet the certification requirements for that expenditure. So at this point, everything looks great with that.
Great news. Thank you. What time is that meeting?
7 p.m.
So then moving right on to the director's report, Donald.
Okay, so really not, too much. I met with the facilities department and the cleaning company concerning some of the concerns that we've had with the cleaning here at the library. We basically have a scope of work that the cleaners work from and a question about the standards. Because obviously you can do something, but the question is, are you doing it well enough to meet the requirements of either us or the cleaning company? So we had a good, healthy discussion about it. So we're hoping that, having that discussion moving forward, that, things will be more in line with what we see our standards for cleaning being here. I did, I mentioned in my report to you guys about the Sampson Fund request that, there was a lot of requests for that fund this year. In total, I think it was like, they had like $53,000 and there were like 61,000 worth of asks. So I had spoken to the treasurer that there, may be a need to either cut our request or reduce it. However, not an hour ago, I received the email that the request for $6,000 to add ADA compliant buttons for the public restrooms was approved.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, so we will be getting that, after July 1, we'll be scheduling that with the contractor who had done a similar project at the Council on Aging.
Great.
So I'm very happy with that. It's been kind of quiet, in the scheme of some things. So it's just been a lot of kind of maintaining regular library services, whether it was reading, ordering new materials, for the adult audio visuals. I did spend some time researching. While I was cleaning out some old files, I found a beneficiary form for a former trustee that that allocated funds to the library. It was part of a life insurance policy. Tracking down what was the insurance company that has became exactly it appears from the history multiple times, you know, so it appears, so the document that I have was dated from 1992, and the insurance policy actually lapsed in 99. So unfortunately, there won't be, you know, any, you know, funds from that coming to the library, but I needed to do my due diligence. You know, it was a singular form in an unmarked folder in a drawer. And, you know, it was more or less the case of whether or not I needed to hold on to this, you know, document or not. So, but they were able to confirm for me that it did lapse. So whether it was the case of the person, you know, opted for another, you know, policy somewhere and things were changed or what have you, but that, you know, took some time. So,
Thank you for taking that.
yeah, it was kind of, you know, interesting to, you know, just randomly find this piece of paper, and it's, you just never know what you'll find in a drawer. Yeah, it was a treasure hunt, you know. I also spoke to facilities, you know, they were getting a quote in regards to the front canopy, you know, the awning that we have up there, you know, about getting it replaced. So we are in the works of getting a quote from a local company because the design of what we have basically has the bottom corners tied to stakes in the ground, but because of the way the wind flows there, they end up breaking. So we've had metal zip ties, you know, they've done other kinds of tie downs, and they just don't work. So we're looking at something that basically can be applied to the building itself. So whether or not they're replaced with a snap kind of, you know, canvas wall or what, you know, so that's still kind of in the, you know, the discussion phases as to what, you know, our options are for that. Yeah, so I mean, that's really it. If there's any questions about my report.
This is not a question about the report, but I think it's the homeowner in me that keeps thinking about this, the spongy wall that was perhaps in the children's room. Did anything ever come of that, or was it?
No, so the spongy wall, so that, you know, facilities did look into it. It, you know, from all observations, it is an old kind of repair kind of issue, that it isn't something that is happening now.
Okay.
I myself and Holly have actually gone into the room to, you know, after we've had like rainy
Right.
days, that we've had quite a few of them, and there hasn't been any further indication of that.
Okay, good to hear.
Oh, and I will also say, just as an update sort of thing, that I had spoken to the town administrator and you know, the head of street trees and parks about contacting Eversource about the box, and they do not have a timeline, meaning Eversource, as to when they will be back on site. Hopefully there will be an advance notice to allow us to deal with any kind of conflicts.
Vehicles.
Yeah.
Great, so
Madam Chair, can I ask a
Of
building
course.
question? The drainage issue, is that going to be addressed? Because wasn't there some flooding when we had some water that got into?
Correct. So that is something that the facilities director and I have talked about. It is something that is a bigger problem, because it basically is because the parking lot comes down this way. You know, so we, as a matter of fact, last week, we actually were discussing it because of the single drain thing, and I call it drain thing because I don't know what the formal name is for it. But we had talked about doing other kind of borders so that we wouldn't get runoff from the sides, you know, which would reduce the mud and stuff that would come from like the garden, you know, the front gardens areas. But it is going to be an undertaking, because it is going to be need to be a redesign for that, you know, because of the slope of the, you know, parking lot.
The planters be put back on that curving, just so people trip over it. There were planters out there at one point, because people like myself walk over that curb when we shouldn't walk over that curb. And
now that it's spring again, I can.
right, yeah.
We're not there yet. But yes, planters are going to be
Okay,
back.
or the
but-
bent, I didn't slide
Yes.
the bent over or something, just to keep that.
Right. The next thing is the staff reports, which went out almost in entirety this morning, except for the teen room staff report.
Yes.
So did anyone have any questions or concerns about those? Okay, not seeing any foundation update. We do have Miss Grace here, so if you would like to.
So we have our gala is well underway, April 5th. We are a month out now from it. Ticket sales are somewhat brisk. I mean, if they continue at the pace they're going, I would imagine sell out on this event. Our community has been generous. But yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Great,
Okay.
thank you. The payment of bills is next, and I don't believe that we have any bills on the tables. So old business. Under old business, I'll just say that I think the next meeting is the meeting that we talked may have to start
7
at
o'clock,
7
Mhm.
instead of 6
April 8th.
because of the pesky doctor's appointment. But we are bumping it to 7. Thank you for flexibility.
Do we want to set May's date, new business?
Yes, under new business, if is nothing else under old business, we can move to new business, and in which case we can choose a date for the May meeting.
So probably May 6th,
I think that makes the most sense given
right?
a lineup of the other dates.
Yeah.
So 6 back at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Anything else under new business?
No, do you want to set the June, July schedule through the summer, or you want to wait till?
I want to
Like
wait until the
May.
next meeting probably to do that. Go through the summer. Says our member who'll be free as a bird after the May meeting. All right, not seeing any other business, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting at 6:18 p.m.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.